Good morning, everyone. Oh, Good morning, everyone. Here we go. Morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm still trying to figure out this new live video stuff. This is about comment moderation. I don't know. But yes, how is everyone this Sunday morning? As I have to get my tech people, um, see if there's anything I need to do with that, with comment moderation. Hopefully, you can all um, comment. Hope everyone is doing well. It's Sunday, April 19th. It's a beautiful sunny day. It was about 30 degrees this morning, so some frost on the windshields. Not what we expected on April 17th, I don't think, but whatever. These are unusual times all the way around. I would like to also, my hearts go out and thoughts go out to all the healthcare workers, EMS, everyone who's on the front lines, helping to hold our healthcare system down, hold it together, all their families that are there supporting them. And I want all or the term helper workers who are out there keeping the essential functions going and being potentially exposed. So my heart and my thoughts go out to all of them, and I'd just like to take a brief pause to acknowledge that. And our thoughts and prayers are with all of them. With all of us who are inside, possibly going stir crazy, trying to keep kids occupied. This is putting a lot of stress and strain on people. A lot of seeing reports that anxiety and depression are going up. Mental health hotlines are being utilized at increasing rates. So, if you have any issues, please do reach out to a family or friend, or reach out to a hotline. So this current pandemic doesn't impact people even more than we would like. So, okay. I hope people can type in the chat. If anybody's there, just let me know if you're able to do that or not. Okay. But so let's get to the article. Obesity linked to severe coronavirus disease, especially for younger patients. This is a New York Times article. So young adults with obesity are more likely to be hospitalized even if they have no other health problems, studies show. At New York University, right in the epicenter in the United States, they analyzed 4,100 patients admitted for coronavirus between March 1st and April 2nd. 2,000 of those patients ended up being admitted. The most important factors for admission were being over 65 and obesity. If you are under the age of 60, obesity is the biggest risk factor. Again, let me say that again. If you are under the age of 60, obesity is the biggest risk factor. Dana, good morning. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for letting me know that the chat is working. I hope you're doing well. Everybody okay in your family? So, um, do people know the definitions of overweight and obesity? These definitions are based on BMI charts, or body mass index charts. Body mass index is a ratio of your weight to your height. Specifically, for the geeks out there, of which I include myself as one, it is body mass index equals the weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters squared. Now, you can do that calculation if you want, um, but you could just use a BMI calculator. There are many of them out there, and enter your weight and your height, and it will give you what your body mass index is. There are also charts, so you can see what your height and weight are, and you can just look on the chart and see approximately where you fall. So that's pretty simple um, to figure it out. So I'm going to give you some examples. And I'm happy to hear everyone is doing well with you. I don't know who else is out there right now, but welcome and I hope everyone is doing well. All right, so healthy body mass index is 18.5 to 24.9. So again, ratio of weight to height, and again, it's meters squared for the height, and the weight is in kilograms. So the ratio of 18.5 to 24.9 is considered healthy weight. For someone that's, let's just say 5 feet 8 inches, because that's what I am. And I know those numbers the best. So for someone who's 5 feet 8 inches, that's a weight range of 125 pounds to 163 pounds. 125, most people would consider on the lighter side. Certainly in America, when somebody's 125 and 5 feet 8 inches, most people would look at that as thin, but that's still in the healthy weight range. Overweight for someone 5 feet 8 inches or BMI of 25 to 29.9 is 164 to 196. So that's getting up there. I've been up to 190 in my life. Now I'm usually hovering around that 163, 164 mark. With this pandemic and being home more and having more access to food, probably up in about the 167 range or so. So 196 is the upper range of overweight, and then obese starts at a BMI of 30 and up. So that starts at 197 pounds. Morbid obesity, yes, there actually is a definition for what they call morbid obesity. Starts at a body mass index of 40 if you don't have any other health conditions, or at 35 with an obesity-related health condition such as diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, that kind of thing. So a BMI of 35, so again, morbid obesity, BMI of 35, with the health condition is 230 pounds for someone who's 5 feet 8 inches, and 40 morbid obesity, so that's if you don't have a health condition. So BMI of 40 for someone who's 5 feet 8 inches, getting up to around the 260 pound mark or so, between 260 and 270. You could just look at, so if you're taller, say you're 5 feet 9 inches, if you, for what I just did, if you added about 5 pounds for every inch of height you are over 5 feet 8 inches. It'll give you a rough estimate. So if you're um, 5 feet 10 inches instead of 5 feet 8 inches, you could add about 10 pounds to what those numbers are that I just gave you. So your overweight would start probably around 174 for someone who's 5 foot 10. Obese would start at like 207. But again, you could just look at either use the calculator or the charts. So anybody have any questions on the body mass index and obesity? I wanted to make sure people understand, what the basis is and why, now we're going to get into why people who suffer from obesity are at such risk. Well, the first thing that, risk factor is that just the mechanical pressure. So when people are obese, there's just more weight on their lungs, their chest, stomach pushing up on the diaphragm. So people can't breathe as deeply or oxygenate as well usually. There's even an obesity hypoventilation system. So hypoventilation means you can't ventilate. Well, just from the weight, and people tend to retain carbon dioxide, and their oxygens are lower. So that puts people at risk right there. Caitlin, good morning. How's everyone doing in your household? Now, let me give you a perspective that relates not only to this, but all of your health. If you don't write anything else down and you don't remember anything else, please either write this down or remember this, because this is the key point, not just for COVID-19, but for all of your health. Inflammation is at the center. Inflammation is the key player. We have been trying to get this message across to people, but I'm only, we are only one practice. There are other practices out there, but we are pretty much just drowned out by the drumbeat of conventional medicine, where you need medications to manage your illness and keep you healthy. Well, they may manage your illness. They may keep your blood sugars low. They may keep your blood pressure down, but that does not make you healthy if it does not take care of the inflammation. And for the most part, it does not take care of the inflammation. So let me say it again. Inflammation is at the center of this and all your health, and inflammation is the key player. The way to future-proof your health, future-proof your resilience, so you can withstand COVID-19 or whatever else comes along, is to deal with inflammation and make yourself healthier now. This is just shining a light on that dark area that people are, don't seem to be aware of when I talk to them. So, I want people to be aware of that inflammation, I'm saying it the third time now, inflammation is the key player. You have to get your inflammation down, and we're going to be talking about how to do that. Caitlin, thank you so much for that feedback. I'm glad to hear the chat is working well. Again, not technologically savvy, so I need that feedback. Thank you. All right. So with obesity, we talk about inflammation. Where does that inflammation come from? So when you have visceral fat, that's fat in and around your organs, It's very inflammatory. Um, you know, I've seen people, you know, a lot of people have fatty liver. Fortunately, most of them don't have severe problems, but I have seen people who have had, you know, severe fibrosis and even cirrhosis from fatty liver. And again, it's just the fat itself. These are people who don't drink alcohol. It's just the fat. So that is an example of that process where visceral fat, fat in and around the organs, is extremely inflammatory and can actually damage your organs. So, it can happen to the liver is our major organ for detoxification. So when that gets damaged, all sorts of bad things start to happen. Um, but it can happen to the kidneys, can happen to the heart, can happen to the eyes. So, you know, obesity sets up a metabolic process that causes inflammation. All this fat around the organs, all the inflammation that causes, can contribute to the cytokine storm that is talked about, where your immune and inflammatory systems just go into overdrive. It's like, you know, it's like you have some gasoline in there. The more inflammation you have, it's like having gasoline. And when a match gets thrown in there, it just lights up in fire. It could be coronavirus, could be another critical illness, urinary tract infection. So again, we're talking about coronavirus and how to better take care of yourself for that. But if you do the things you need to do for that, it will also be taking care of all these other problems. Specific to infection control and coronavirus, though, is, if your body's already using a lot of resources to fight inflammation, it often doesn't have the resources to mount a great immune response. So even though it's sending out all these cytokines and things, almost like overcompensating, then the cytokines end up causing the damage and damaging tissue and that kind of thing. So you want to have an immune system that's healthy and resilient, is active but not overactive, and responds appropriately. I've gotten the question from a lot of the patients that we have with autoimmune disease. Does that place me at a higher risk? At least I haven't seen any data that shows that to be true. I think it's involves a different type of inflammatory cascade than we're seeing with the metabolic diseases, such as obesity and fatty liver and that kind of thing. So I believe that people who have the autoimmune diseases, again, haven't seen any data that they're at higher risk. So people who have these metabolic diseases often are eating diets that are low in fiber and antioxidants. So if you're eating a diet low in fiber and antioxidants, your resilience, your immune resilience, your anti-inflammatory resilience is low. You can't react to reactive oxygen stress well. That's one of the key points that causes inflammation, is reactive oxygen species. You need antioxidants. That's why they're called antioxidants. They react against reactive oxidant species. So you need to have a diet high in fiber and antioxidants. You need diet high in fiber that just helps keep everything working well. good bowel movements, that kind of thing. So what do? You start to eat more vegetables and more fruit. It should be primarily vegetables, 2 to 3 servings of fruit. It should be, um, you know, we talk about eating the color of the rainbow because you get different antioxidants from all the different colors that you're getting. So doing that can help with your health resiliency. You can start doing that today. If you can get out to the store today, go get some vegetables and fruit and start consuming that. Make sure you're getting enough fiber, plenty of water. Um, so, anybody have questions about that? I don't know if folks can hear. We had a tree fall during the windstorm last week. The branch went through the garage roof, so we're having some trees cut down, and I don't know how well you can hear that in the background. Try to move rooms so that you couldn't hear it as well, but um, I can certainly hear it. Um, so, I mean, so with coronavirus and obesity, certainly the U.S. has a vulnerable population. Rates of obesity, are up around approaching the 30% mark in many states. That's bringing that epidemic of diabetes with it. So it's a big problem, and we're going to see how this plays out over the coming weeks to months. But they've noticed it in London, they've noticed it in France, that, on the front lines, they're all seeing the same thing. If you're younger than 60, it's much more likely that you have obesity as your risk factor. You may have other underlying conditions also, but I think often, we're always puzzled when we see somebody dying from the coronavirus that, quote, has no underlying conditions. I don't know if they're including obesity. They had in those news articles as what somebody's underlying condition could be. Certainly hadn't been considered that until now. So um, if you need help with your diet, if you need help losing weight, if you need help with your immune system, please contact Princeton Integrative Health. Look at Jenna's immune support group. Um, that'll give you some great tips. Let's see, we have a comment from Nancy. Good morning, Nancy. Um, any new strategy or advice on how to talk to young people in their early 20s to take their health care seriously, especially now? Well, Nancy, this could open up an access point to say to young people, that, again, that people who are overweight, especially obese people, whatever their age group, are more at risk from suffering from, now we're talking about coronavirus, but, a new threat could come along, or, we're seeing people younger and younger developing diabetes. Um, you know, I think that's the access point you have to take. Are people in their 20s going to listen? We don't know. They eventually seem to get the message. Whether it's people, teenagers or in their 20s, they do often think that, they're invulnerable, bulletproof, nothing's going to happen to them. But, this coronavirus is certainly proving to some people that they are not actually bulletproof, not invulnerable. So hopefully that opens up an access point for them. And yeah, we'd be happy to talk to them. Tell them to follow our group and ask their questions about their health. We'd be happy to offer that to people, or even do discovery calls with them. So, for people who don't know, we do free 30-minute discovery calls, so you can hear about our practice, hear what we have to offer. So, you can check out our Facebook page, or you can check out our website. Our website is princetonih.com, or you can call our phone number, which is 609 512 1468. Again, 609 512 1468. So, um, all right. We're going to any other questions before I sign off? Thank everyone who came. Thank you for your questions. And I, hope you found this helpful, and we're willing to, get out to the community. If folks have any platforms or forums where you can get out to the community to talk about this, of course we'll have to wait till coronavirus is over, or we could set up any type of webinar. We could, stream, do a, sort of a Facebook Live or a Zoom, and talk to folks in the community. I'd be happy to do that. So please contact us if there's any groups that you feel would benefit from us talking to them. Not just people in their 20s, but folks who are at high risk, folks over, they say, age 65. Makes me feel a little vulnerable because I'll be turning 65 in May. But yeah, any folks who are vulnerable, folks with weight issues, be happy to talk to anybody. So again, and I focus on vascular risk factors, and that's usually tied into the whole cardiometabolic issue. So, we want to get the word out. We need help getting the word out. So please, if you can help us with that, we'd love it. Share our stuff. And again, if you directly have access to a group that we could speak with, I would love to do that. Okay. All right. Even at a distance, the folks who are up in, Binghamton, New York, where I used to practice, Corning, New York, where I used to practice. So, all right, everyone, have a great Sunday. Here it's going to get warmer. So if you can get outside safely, please do that. And I will talk to you soon.